Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today, including Ray Ferraro, standing by, brought to you by the Waddling Dog Pub, one of Victoria's favorite local watering holes. Located, I think it's the favorite. Located 10 minutes from the ferry terminal. The two-time #1 pub in Victoria invites you to see why they are the go-to watering hole. Countless reasons to come, sit, and stay. Sounds like you're talking to a dog. At the Waddling Dog. We're joined now by our good friend, our old friend, Ray Ferraro, for the first time this hockey season.
Oh, wow.
ESPN, TSN, the Ray and Dregs podcast. Ray, thanks for doing this. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I see time has not made you guys better looking. Not that I'm a painting here. Either,
Yeah, you nailed that.
Yes, it gets easier and easier to comb my hair.
Yes.
I'm right with you, buddy.
We're right with you.
Yeah. Or in my case, my toupee. Hey, Ray, are you anti pant stripe or pro pant stripe?
You know, Donnie, I saw you tweet this out last night, and I'm having a tough time caring.
Thank you.
Like, who cares? Like, I don't know. Like, put a stripe on it. Don't put a stripe on it. I'm more concerned. Like, I like jerseys. I like.
I know you
not
do.
To your, but not to your level.
Yes.
But when you get to the stripe part, so it must really bug you that some baseball players have their stirrups showing and some don't.
Oh, yes, I know. Yeah.
I mean, that must drive you up the walls. Me, I'm just watching the game.
Well, I'm from, and I know you are too. I'm from the stirrup era, and to this day, it bothers me. I'm from the Chris Spire era. The very high stirrups.
What
Only
number
you
was
would
Chris
remember.
Spire?
I think it was 4, wasn't he?
Very good. Very good.
Old Montreal Expo. Rick, stay with us here.
I'm here.
Okay, Ray, let's get right to it. What are your expectations this season for the Vancouver Canucks?
Well, I would say that my guess is that you're not looking at the preseason and thinking this is the team that you're going to see. I mean, they sent a group to Edmonton yesterday, and I thought for kind of 55 minutes, it kind of hung in there okay. It was 4-2, and then the roof caved in, and whether those guys were engaged to the game early or not, the Oilers, that is, that's another thing. But, the Canucks team, I believe, will play at a faster pace than last year. I think people are really going to like Mikheyev. If you're looking for a lot of give and goes, you got the wrong guy. But if you're looking for power and speed and a really good forechecker, turn pucks over, I think he's a 20-plus goal guy. Then you're going to like him a lot. Now, clearly they're top heavy, like lots of teams are. They're heavy in the middle, and they'd like to get some help on the blue line. So, to me, the whole season success kind of revolves around how efficient that blue line can play. Maybe it'll change, maybe it won't. I am kind of maybe looking at things a little differently, of course, with Cammy being involved. And one thing I do know is if the fans think that the team needs a new defenseman, chances are management's noticed.
Yep. Yeah.
Like chances are. What I do think is really, it must be really hard, is that you can't find the player that you want for the asset you want to give up.
Right.
Because if you're looking for a 5, 6, or 7 defenseman, well, you could find that on the waiver wire or in a trade somewhere along the way.
Yep.
If you're looking for a top 4 defenseman, or if you're looking for a top 2 centerman for that matter, who's giving you that?
Yep.
They're just really hard to come by. And I used to joke that, Cammy never tells me anything. I'm really honestly, because I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm glad she doesn't. So I can't tell you what they're thinking inside the room because she seriously does not tell me.
Ray, pluses and minuses as we focus again on the Canucks defense, pluses and minuses of Quinn Hughes moving to the right side.
Well, the pluses are that he he plugs a hole that you have, a very, very obvious hole. I do think it's, it's a little bit over the top-ish to evaluate every decision he makes with the puck or every play he makes in the defensive zone. He's played 3 games on the right side. Like, as great a player as he is, if you stuck Cale Makar over on the left side, or if you stuck Victor Hedman on the right side, there's going to be some awkward moments. The one thing I would say, I had a coach discuss or tell me about player Owen Zellweger, who's an Anaheim draft pick. He always plays on the right side. He's at Everett Silvertip. And he said the key to playing on the offside is you got to get your feet outside the puck. So you don't actually handle the puck on your backhand very much. You use quick feet, and Zellweger does it really well to get around the puck. And if Quinn Hughes is going to be on the right side long enough, he's going to be able to do that because he's got the feet to do it. Certain, like Mackenzie Weegar in Calgary, he's a right shot, plays the left side, does it all the time. It's not impossible. The negative is you take him off the left side. You don't spread your puck movers in pairs 1 and 2. That's the negative to it.
Ray, Bo Horvat, he's a UFA, final year of his deal. Some people think out there that Couturier at 7-7 is a comparable. They don't seem to be close, Ray. They talked all summer. First of all, do you think he is a player that can get 7.7, or is that what kind of comparable do you think that is with Couturier?
Well, when I read the comparable stuff, my first thought is that's obviously the player and the agent's comparable.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when it was reported as a comparable, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the agent's comparable. I used to compare myself to players all the time, and the managers would go, you're talking about the wrong guy.
Yeah.
I was comparing myself to the wrong guy. Honestly, I don't want to come off sided to one side or the other here. I want to be objective as much as I can. And this is really the more difficult part of, I'm married to Cammie and she's in management, but 7-7's big for Horvat. What's his career high in points?
61.
Yeah. What would you rate him as a penalty killer?
Not great.
Yeah. Now change that to Sean Couturier.
Yeah.
Selke Trophy winner.
Selke, yep.
Yeah. Two-way player. I just don't think it's the right comparable. Here comes the other problem. You do know that you have to improve your defense. At some point, you'd like to.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're paying Bo, what has he done wrong? Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what don't you like? Nothing. Like nothing. But if you're at him and Pettersson at 7 and Miller and what's Miller at?
8
now? 8. So now you're at 23 million up the middle of the ice.
Up the middle of the ice.
You still got to put a team together.
That's right.
And so that there becomes the real challenge of asset management. I look around the league and, okay, so I'll give you an example. In Toronto, I know people here love when you compare the Leafs and the Canucks, but so they've got Marner at 10, Nylander at 7, Matthews at 11 coming off the books into his contract, Tavares at 11. What if Michael Bunting scores 30 goals this year?
That's it.
What are you going to pay him?
Yeah.
Well, you can't.
You can't.
Does that mean they don't like him? No, of course not. But you can only put so much sand in the jar.
Yeah.
And then it overflows. And that's where, to me, that's the only decision with Bo Horvat is that can you commit that kind of money to that one position? It could be any position, but that one position and still hope to improve your team.
Yep.
That becomes difficult.
Yep. The kid, who got paid today, Ray? The kid from Coquitlam, Matt Barzell, $9.1 million a year. Now everyone's talking about Pettersson's up soon too, Ray. Is Pettersson going to get 9-10? Well, Pettersson's got to get out of the 60s. His high is 68 points. Can he get to 80, 85, 90 points this year, Ray, in your eyes?
He can, and if he wants the money,
he's got to. He's got
commiserate. That's what it's going to be. Now, here's another thing. Each team is a little different, even though the comparables don't make it so. Barzell's numbers have been compacted a little bit by the way the Islanders play. Under Lane Lambert, he'll play a little bit different, a little bit more open style that I think plays more into Barzal's skill set. The Islanders were the only team in the league that didn't sign a free agent this year.
Right.
Hard to believe, but they didn't sign one. They missed the playoffs and didn't sign one. They signed a couple of their own guys, some really good players. They traded for Romanoff, signed Dobson, but they need offense. Barzal was leveraged in the perfect position to a deal like this, and good for him. He's a really good kid and knows Dad a bit and know him a bit. And man, 9 sheets is a lot. Good for him.
Hey, Ray, before we let you go, I don't know if you watched Monday Night Football, but Bobby Wagner in San Francisco decked a fan who was running on the field. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
I think you can relate. All those years ago, a game, I believe you're with the Kings playing the Ducks. I don't know if we can roll this, Derek. Fan comes on the ice. You're the first guy to point it out. You go up and confront him. What can you tell us?
Well, so right behind the glass was an orange railing that the celebrities would kind of put their elbows on. And this guy comes down, springs off the orange railing up to the top of the glass and over. So I look up and this guy's running. Look at Larry Robinson. He is doing everything he can. I think somewhere in this clip, Ian LaPerriere is going to be cracking up.
Yeah.
But look at Larry. He's like, what is he doing? So I see him running on the ice, and he's running towards Aki Berg. Aki's like 18 years old. And he's looking at him like, what is this guy doing? And at the time, I'm thinking, like, what is he doing? Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't even really think that maybe it could have been dangerous, but I'm like, this guy's got to get out of here. So I went and I just kind of, shoved him aside, and the linesman show up. And so we're like, wow, like, where did he come from? Yep. Like, he was like, so just think, he had to get over the glass. Do you know how many ways that could have gone wrong?
Oh, of course.
Like, so like right here, I see him. I'm like, hey, there's somebody on the ice, and look where he is. He's like all the way out there. And things weren't going to turn out very well for him here. I mean, like, he's fighting the world at this point. And it was, I never, ever have I seen that. Although, Dolly, I don't know if you'll remember this. I know Donnie will remember this. The streaker in Calgary that jumped over the glass.
Yes, Tim Hurlbert.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, that guy, your guy at least had clothes on.
Yes, exactly.
You wonder where he came from, Ray? Wherever they serve alcohol, that's where he came from.
Directly from there, I think. He must have. I don't know. Never did meet him, but he was in the game, and then he was out of the game.
Yeah. Hey, very quickly, Ray, I know we're out of time here, but very quickly, Ray, the statue, Dale Hawerchuk in Winnipeg, what was he like to play against? What was he like as a player as a whole?
So we used to go into that, you'd go into the old Smythe division. Calgary would beat you up. The Oilers would score 9, and then you'd go to Winnipeg like an afterthought, and Dale Hawerchuk would get 4 points. Mm-hmm. Like, they were the 3rd best team in the league, and they couldn't get out of their division. Dale was, it's almost impossible to be as criminally underrated as Dale Hawerchuk was. I put him and Ron Francis very much in the same way.
Right.
Like, they were just amazing players, terrific people. I've known Ron a long, long time and got to know Dale a little bit. Hearing the impact that he had on people as he retired and then coached and mentored, I guess it's an incredible honor, a remembrance. Just so sad. So sad.
It really is. The late, great Dale Hawerchuk. Ray, we'll get you back soon. Thanks so much for this. Appreciate it.
Great to see you guys. Be well.
You bet. Ray Ferraro from ESPN and TSN. Dale Hawerchuk, criminally underrated. Ray was one of the great centers of that era as well. But you had Gretzky, Lemieux, Savard, so many great centers that overshadowed the other great centers at that time. Ron Francis as well.